Hi team, welcome to this morning's Pilates session. Don't really need anything for this workout. I'm going to be offering a few different modifications. So if you have dumbbells, use them. If you don't stress. And if you've got a roller, have it handy. But if you don't, that's okay too. So let's start with a little bit of a glute stretch. My glutes are feeling a little tight. So let's jump into that. So we want to start in a all fours position for me. And we're going to do some rock backs. So with our rock backs, we want to have our knees separate or separated from each other about foot distance apart. And I want you to focus on keeping your spine nice and long as you rock back through your hips. So really thinking about that nice little hinge, careful that your bum doesn't get sucked underneath you, so you don't end up going into like a posterior tilt where the back rounds. Try and focus on keeping the spine nice and neutral. Try and untuck the toes if you can. Sitting right back, just rocking through. And then slide your left knee forward. Take your foot and hook it behind, take your right foot, hook it behind your left knee. And then continue with those rock backs. So what we're doing here is we're just continuing to stretch out through the hip. I've got my right knee cocked out to the side. Pressing through that hip. And if it feels good or if it feels better, you can try and do this one on a little diagonal. No, I'm coming. I can see your belly. Oh, thank you for my cuddles, Bubba.
Come here.
I think you're going to the park.
We're going to the park.
And then change over to the other side. So put the foot in front of the knee, hook the heel behind that knee, and then rocking back. So it's kind of like a pigeon. If you've never done this stretch with me before, it's sort of a little bit more dynamic. Beautiful. We're going to start off in a 4-point position. So come back, hands underneath shoulders, lift up through that belly, focus on getting that nice straight spine. Slide the left arm out and the right leg out, and then gently lifting and squeezing, checking your alignment in your own camera, making sure that we've got a nice 90-degree angle between the hip and the knee, and our shoulder is directly underneath our arm. Lift and squeeze, and then coming back down. Keep that belly on. Careful that we don't let it drop. No swinging or swaying through the other side, and then lengthening out, opposite hand, opposite leg. Belly in, stretch through. Belly in, stretch up. Big breath in, breathing out. So at the moment we're going opposite sides, just warming up that body. Three, 2, and 1. Come through, get the right arm up and the left arm up. We're going to hold here for just a moment before we start drawing little circles with the arm and little circles with the leg. So really point the toe, lift up through the belly, pull the rib cage down and in underneath you, and continue to re-find your breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. If it feels too much with the arm and the leg, just keep the arm still and focus on tracing those little circles with the leg. 2, and 1. And then let's trace the legs the other way. Stay up with the belly. Keep the core on for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the legs still. Bring the arm back into a cactus, so it's pulling back into a 90-degree position, and then shooting back out. Staying up on one leg if you can. What have you done with your belly? Have you let it go? Now, if you're feeling super coordinated, I want you to bring your leg up at the same time. Leg comes in like you're doing a fire hydrant. Leg sweeps out. Breathing in, breathing out. For 10, 9, keep the core tight, keep the core supporting the spine. Any lower back pain generally means that the core is switched off. So regress the exercise, just start moving one, either limb, to refine the stability. 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Bring your hand back down underneath you and let's go over to the other side. So left arm extends, right leg extends, and we start with our little circles. Belly pulls up and in, snapping that belly up. And once again, if it feels like it's too much through shoulder and leg, just keep one still. Point that toe. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the leg and let's reverse that circle. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Elbow pulls back into the rib, 90-degree bend, elbow sweeps out. We can coordinate it, and we're feeling strong. That leg comes in, sweeps to the side of the body, and then we extend out. Breathe through. 5, 4, get that leg up high. 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Take your hand back down underneath you. Move yourself down onto your elbows. And then move your knees back 30 centimeters or so and bring your body down and over your shoulders. We're going to stay here for a frontal plank. Now, if you are ready, I want you to be pushing up onto your toes. And I want you to be holding that front plank up on your toes rather than on your knees. If you need to regress this, regress it down onto your knees like me and tuck your pelvis underneath you. Holding tight. Refine your breath. Up on your toes if you're feeling strong and you're ready for it. We're halfway there. 30 seconds to go. Belly stays on. Think hip bone to hip bone pulling in. Gentle lift and squeeze of the pelvic floor. 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Bring your knees back in underneath you so your knees are repositioned directly underneath your hips. From here, we're going to work the glutes just that little bit more. Extend out through the right leg. Keep the leg nice and long and lift that leg up to the sky. Stay proud through the shoulders and press down through the elbows so you're not sinking through the chest. Keep the leg nice and long. Keep the back straight. Looking good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend that knee. Curl that knee in. So now you look like a little scorpion. And we're going to take the knee down to the mat, tap it lightly, and push back up. Full range here. Working that glute, squeezing. Nice full range. Point the toe to start with. Toe to the sky. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Leave the leg up high. Flex the foot, and I want you just to pulse the leg. Little pulses. Try and keep the back disengaged and start lifting through the belly. Let the core do the work. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Bring that leg back in underneath you. Push back up onto the hands and add a little swing side to side just to loosen up that hip before we go over onto the left side. Come down onto your elbows with me, team. Let's do the other side, making sure we make both cheeks even. Extend out through the left foot, point the toe, and we're starting with that beautiful long leg extension. Make sure that we've got full range. Remember, if you're feeling it through the back, it's because you've let go of your front abdominal wall. So pull the ribs down towards the hips, recheck your alignment, and make sure your deep transverse abdominals are switched on. Good. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend that foot, keep the toe pointed. Nice full range as we're lifting up and down. Leg is bent. Check your alignment through your hips. Careful that you haven't swung your weight off to the right side. Keep pushing through the elbows. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Flex the foot. Little pulses for 20. Drive up, push, push, push. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that leg in underneath you, up onto the hands, and just pushing back. Separate those knees for me. Just come back into child's pose. Reach out long on your mat. Head comes down. Little wiggle through your hips. Beautiful. And then let's work a little bit through our shoulders before we move into the next sequence. So I want you to push either onto your toes or onto your knees. So if you're sitting up on your knees like me, walk your knees back 30 centimeters away from a 4-point position. Otherwise, you're up on your toes. We're going to be doing some shoulder work in this position. So we want to start with some scap push-ups. Chest comes all the way down to the ground, team. And then we drive away, we round through the back. Just getting the shoulders warmed up, ready to move. Two, one. Find the top position, get your core into alignment. We're going to go into a shoulder tap each side. So left hand taps the right shoulder, right hand taps the left shoulder. Come down into a commando, elbow comes down, we push back up. And then again, left, right, elbow, elbow, push away. Tap, tap, elbow, elbow, push away. So we're going to be here for a minute, just working through our arms, through our core, lengthening out, weight bearing to the front of us. Tap, tap, elbow, elbow, hand, hand. Tap, tap, elbow, elbow, hand, hand. Keep the core on. Try and minimize any swinging through the hips. And girls, you can be up on your toes on this. That's exactly where you should be. Almost there. Last 20 seconds. Take your time with it. There is no rush. Breathe into each movement. Stabilize the spine. Three, 2, and 1. Beautiful. From here, finishing off those arms, tricep push-ups. Bring the hands directly underneath your shoulders. Move your body weight forward. Tuck the pelvis. Now, I'm going to be modifying mine so that I'm not putting so much core down through my abdomen. You're either on your toes or you're in a nice little knee plank position. I'm going to have my knees a little bit more underneath my hips, and if you're also feeling like you need that support, you take that option too. Elbows are going to graze the side of the body, and then we press away. Let's go for 10. Finish off those arms. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful work. Roll yourself over so you're now sitting on your bum. Beautiful. Take your hands behind your back and just give your shoulders a little stretch out. Fingertips pointing away. Take a nice big breath. And then roll your fingers so that they are now facing your toes again and push up into a reverse tabletop. Just try and breathe into this space with me. Get your shoulders working, your arms nice and long. Hold for another 10 seconds, girls. Push up higher if you can. If it feels good, I want you to walk your legs out a little further. Challenge yourself. Last 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Shake out those arms. We're going to jump into some dips in our reverse tabletop position. Now, if you're feeling like this position is a little bit compromising, feel free to grab your dumbbells instead and go into an overhead tricep extension instead. So if you're joining me with these dips, fingertips facing away, little lift to the hips, elbows push back, and then we drive back up. Small movement. Try and isolate through those arms if you can. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful work. Come forward, roll all the way forward. Touch your toes, stretching out through the legs. Let your whole body hang, especially if you're feeling a little tight through the back. Before we start our ab series. Give your neck a little bit of a release. Good. And then from here, I want you to do a roll back if you're not pregnant. I'm going to be just explaining what this is going to look like. We're going to roll and tuck the pelvis underneath us. We're going to come all the way down to the mat, taking yourself all the way down. Once you get all the way down, you're going to take the arms overhead, and then you're going to roll all the way back up, rolling through. So you end up pushing through into your hamstrings. So roll backs. If you're pregnant like me, we're going to do a modified where we're going to roll the pelvis underneath us and then sit up tall. Roll the pelvis underneath us, sit up tall. Otherwise, if you're feeling like you're ready for it, you're coming all the way down to the ground. Okay? Three, 2, and 1. And then everyone join me down on the ground. Beautiful. And then let's start with some some shin taps. We're going to lift up through the head and shoulders. You're going to reach the right arm out towards the shin. Take it back. Left arm comes towards the shin. Take it back. Roll back down. Lifting up. Right arm towards the shin. Left arm towards the shin. And then rolling back through. If you are pregnant, these are probably not the best option, especially if you're further along, first trimester, obviously go for it. If you're fine, let's continue with those toe taps. Otherwise, if you are pregnant, let's instead go into a lift foot. So we're bringing that leg up into tabletop, and then we're marching it back down. Beautiful. Otherwise, you're sweeping that leg out nice and long. You'll do left arm, right arm, and then roll your head and shoulders back down. Breathe to lift, left arm, then right arm, and then back down. Lift foot is also a great option if you're just getting back into core work. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bringing your legs up into tabletop for me. That's everyone. We're going to do something very similar. You're going to lift and extend through your upper body. You're going to drop the right leg down to the ground, your left leg down to the ground, and then return your head and shoulders back down to the mat. You're going to lift, right leg, left leg, then return back down. Now, obviously, I'm not lifting as high as I can. I want you to be really making sure that you're coming up and you're pulling that rib cage down and in. If you are pregnant, instead, you can either continue with lift foot or you can go into lift foot and extend, which is what I'm going to do. Otherwise, you've got your legs up in tabletop. You do right leg, toe tap, left leg, toe tap, and then crunch back down. Good, looking good, girls. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you need to, bring your legs down to the ground. Give them a little swivel side to side, left side, right side. And we're going to come into crisscross now. So with crisscross, legs are going to be back up into tabletop. You're going to lift up through the upper body. We're going to extend out through the right leg. Left leg stays bent. We twist and we come up to an oblique crunch. We come back to center and then change. Back to center, change. If you are pregnant like me, we're going to not do those exercises. Instead, we're going to be coming up into pendulum. So legs can pull up and we're just going to twist the body, just loosening up. Now, if that feels like it's still a little bit too much, you could stay down with your feet. Okay, just loosening up the back instead. Otherwise, if you're not pregnant, you are doing crisscross where the leg pushes out, you come up into a nice oblique twist and we change. Beautiful. Last minute here. Really go for it. Lifting higher on that crisscross, really twisting across your body and focusing on the rib cage, pulling down and in. Beautiful. Last 30 seconds of crisscross. You can do it. Really point those toes. Breathe out as you crunch over. Good. 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job, team. Roll yourself over onto your side. Take the right arm out nice and long and pop your ear on your bicep. Tuck your feet so that your feet are in line with your tailbone and knees are sitting at a 45-degree angle to your hips. From here, we're going to start with some clam work. So we want to really squeeze our legs together and lift up through the knee. Now it's a very small movement here. We also really need to make sure that the belly is on. It makes it almost impossible to feel glute med if you haven't got your core activated. So imagine that you're trying to lift your belly up and off the ground, that you're trying to pass a little note under the side of your hip. And careful that we're not over rotating through the hips. We want to keep the hips nicely squared and stacked and skewered on top of each other. If it feels like you're ready for it, I want you to lift your feet just slightly up in the air. Makes this exercise just that little bit harder, but make sure that we're not wobbling or wiggling all over the place. Make sure that the belly stays on and the thumb can just come to the back side of the hip so you can really feel your glute med working. Good. Keep going here, team. 3, 2, and 1. Drop the bottom leg to the ground and extend out through that top leg. I want you to draw some teeny tiny little circles. Recheck your abs and make sure that they are turned on. The belly is pulling in and the toe is pointed. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Bring that knee into your chest and then extend it out long. Let's flex our foot here. So pull the toe in and then press away. Pull the toe in and press. Three, 2, and 1. Take that top leg, place it behind the bottom leg, extend the bottom out leg long. We're going to come into some inner thigh work. We're going to lift and squeeze through the inner thigh and then drop the leg back down to the ground. If you are pregnant and you're feeling any pulling sensation in your hips from working your adductors, please leave this one out and instead just opt to jump into a nice little stretch before we move on to the other side. Good, looking strong. We're going to go 10 nice fast beats at the top. So pull your leg right to the top of the position and then push. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Let's roll over to the other side. Pick yourself up. Swing your legs over. Coming down and onto your other side. Left ear onto your left bicep. Take your feet so that they're in line with your tailbone. Lift up through the belly. Skewer your hips. And let's come into clam. Lifting that knee and then replacing it back down onto the other. Feel free to lift through the feet. Keep pressing the feet together. Make sure that you're ready and you're really feeling that muscle activate. You might not feel the burn just yet. but you should definitely feel a little bulge underneath glute med. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the bottom leg out. Extend the top leg. Teeny tiny little circles. Tracing that cantaloupe. Point the toe. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the leg, pull the knee to the front of the body, flex the foot and press it back. Beautiful work, girls. Keep that belly on. No wobbling through the hips. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take that top leg, thread it behind the left, and then inner thigh lift. Lift and lower. Try and really press through the adductors, the inner thigh seam. Three, 2, 1. Hold the leg at the top and 10 little pulses. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Roll yourself over, girls. Let's finish up with a nice little stretch. Take the knees wide. Turn the feet out and come into a nice wide little froggy stretch. Obviously, do be careful if you are pregnant. You don't want to overstretch. Just want to loosen up anything that's tight. Good. Rocking forward, rocking back. 3, 2, and 1. And then carefully gather your knees back in underneath you. From here, let's stretch out through the hips just that little bit more. Take one foot underneath your glute. Take the other foot up and over. Now, if you're pregnant, this might be enough for you. If you're not, you might like to add, another little twist in and around. So just move to the point that feels comfortable for you, for your body, for your hips. Whichever one you're doing, just make sure you are sitting up nice and tall. Good, and then changing over to the other side. Tuck the other leg underneath you. Wrap the other leg over the top. Sit up tall. Pull that knee in. Awesome work, girls. So that is today's session. Thank you all so much for joining me. If you're watching this one back, please let me know if you gave it a go. I'd love to hear your feedback. But I'll see you all on the flip side. Bye.